Welcome to the program. 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 You're listening to the Cruel and Unusual Sit-Down podcast. Pew, pew. I was in an argument with my friend Terry, and Terry said he couldn't, at the end of it, he couldn't come to any, there was no inroads between our two sides. I don't remember what it was about, and there was just no use going forward with the argument. And Terry looks at me and he says, "Agree to disagree." And that really touched me. It really hit me. It really pulled my emotional heartstrings. And I just said, wow, that's unexpected. That's so, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. So you're saying that I have permission from you to keep my wrong opinion. Thank you. Thank you from the empty bottom of my thug heart. Now that I can hold on to that opinion, thanks to you, Terry, I think I just might make it. I think I just might make it out of this fog and pull myself up out of this. Thank you, Terry, for giving me permission to have my own opinion. Where would I have been? Where would I have made it? What would I have done if it hadn't been for Terry? My friend Terry passed away last year in the war. And his last words, he gave a speech to his team as he laid there dying, having been shot. He was shot by a mortar that came from an area that was known to be a hotbed of enemy activity. And as he lay dying, he told his team, let anyone have their own opinion, even if you don't agree with them, even though that's not what you want to do and it feels wrong. And so Terry died. But in my opinion, Terry died in vain. Have you heard of this? You go in your refrigerator, you get a lime, a lemon, some mint, some ice water, you pour that in a glass, you muddle it all together, and they just pour that right down in the toilet. This concoction replaces Drano. I was just trying to go home. My electric car stopped driving. I got out. The algorithm tried to kill me. The algorithms in this age have gone too far. The algorithms, let's not call them that. That's what they want us to call them. Let's call them, well, if we don't call them algorithms, people won't know what we're talking about. Yeah, that's kind of a labored word. I sort of wish that they had an easier word. If it was bread, we could say, bread is causing so much trouble. We don't know if bread is telling the truth. Sometimes bread is lying to us. Bread is essentially a sociopath, if you look at it. Let's measure what a sociopath is. Let's look at all the symptoms of sociopathy. Okay. Each one of them matches bread. Bread is a sociopath. Don't look to the myth of your childhood for answers as to what a sociopath is and how they're made or how they're formed. They're formed by the human condition. They're built into this condition. They're not aberrations. They're aspects of existence. Bread is no different. I've heard people say bread is going to cause. I hear people say that bread is going to cause trouble. I'm kind of bored with this subject. Bread's kind of boring. Bread, the best thing since sliced bread. No, you mean the worst thing since sliced bread. Sliced bread is the worst thing. You know what you want? You want flatbread. You don't want sliced. Sliced bread is somebody's conning you with bread. A baker. Here's what happened. I know what happened. We've researched it. We went back to the first bakery that baked sliced bread. The whole concept was to screw over the flatbread companies. It's cheap flatbread. It's easier to make. It costs 1 cent less, but a loaf costs only 1 cent. Prices, a long time ago, prices were significantly lower. You used to go and pay 1 cent for an acre of land. You could be walking down the street and find a shiny penny, or even a penny that is just maybe good or very good. Maybe the date's a little worn. You turn it over, maybe the ears. You look at the wheat ears on the back, and you say, well, this is not even very fine. Probably fine at the best. And you look, but then you notice, you know what? Abraham Lincoln has a little tinge of shine around him, right where he was shot. So then you say, okay, this might be worth a lot. This might be more valuable than I thought it would be. They don't agree with you at the coin shop, but you still get the victory because it turns out it's very fine. It was very fine. When you looked at the ears, you could see 30% of them. That's what I said. I said, put that in one of those folders. I got the stapler, put it in the folder. You got to preserve these relics. You could buy a whole acre of land with that penny. That was before 1947 when the CIA was created. And they jacked up the price to like $1,000 an acre. You could buy a house in 1950. You could buy a house in 1960. You could always buy a house. Depending. It would depend. Now, they're not allowed to teach this in schools because it embarrasses certain students whose parents benefited from it. But in the 1950s, the fact is, you could be turned down from buying a home. Depending on the color of your skin. You can see why they want to forget it. I guess it's predictable that they would want to silence and keep that between them. between the white nationalists who enclaved up in their neighborhoods and live amongst us, give us a smile on their face, and meanwhile there's a hatchet that they're constantly ready to throw at our backs when we're not looking. They say they're nice to your face so they can be violent behind your back. All because of some postage stamps. All of this because of postage stamps. They said, how do we get money? Have the colonies pay for postage. They come over here. You're going to have to pay 1 cent. But remember, 1 cent was actually, back then you could buy 2 acres of land for 1 cent. They had half cents you could buy 1 acre with. The half cent was actually a larger, it was significantly bigger than the cent. So the fact is, if you could go back in time, what you want to do is buy up all the 1 cent coins you can get, the small ones when they first come out, and then just go around and say, hey, you got any of those half cents? Because I'm trading them in, and then get those half cents, take those, melt them down. You could logarithmically move your money. This may be one of the biggest, but it's contingent on time travel, which is not possible. That's the one, at least that's what the bank said. The bank is rigorous in their time studies. They've determined that you cannot go traveling around in time. That people made it up because they wanted to relive moments of their life that they missed. And so they created the concept of time travel in order to manipulate people and their fears and their anxieties. That's why I never liked H.G. Wells. Woo, okay. All right. I got here as fast as I could. I don't want to forget this. I just found out Pacman is real. It's the roadmap of life, but only in 1 or 2 ways. It's been encoded. I just found this out from a friend. It's been going around the world. I think this information is gonna probably hit everybody. Pacman, I was eating right before this, and then a friend of mine came up to the table and said, I've got to talk to you right now. And I was kind of mad. Initially, he charged out of the room because I told him, just, don't ever interrupt me when I'm eating. I said, when I'm eating, don't ever interrupt me. It's the only thing I have. So, but then he says, wait. He says, hold on. This is about, what I'm going to tell you is enigmatic, mysterious information. So, I put down my pimento cheese sandwich. And I said, okay, what is it? Let me have it. So, and he did not disappoint me. Pacman is real. Okay, so here's how it works. Don't tell anyone if you don't think they can understand it, don't tell them. Some people, if you tell them that Pacman is real, they might look at you funny, actually. I found out. Well, but that's okay, because knowing the truth doesn't matter. When you know the truth, it makes it all worthwhile. And suddenly it all works out. Pacman is real. Here's how it works. Be careful with this. Okay, so the first time you die, you basically go home. just like the ghost. Pac-Man is representing the universe, and you are the ghost. Okay, when Pac-Man kills you, when you die, you go home. So then you get it, you go back and then you walk back out like nothing happened, and you're out there again. Now, whenever you see a friend of yours, it's something's off balance, and they kill you, so you die again. So you keep getting murdered by everybody that you know, until you just quit going and seeing them, because once you catch on to it, it takes a little while to catch on. But you literally get murdered by all your friends dozens of times. Everybody you know kills you at least 50 times. It's Pac-Man. Life is Pac-Man. You die. The first time you die, you go home. And you get replenished, and then you pull out. You go out in your color, and you get back out there until Pac-Man gets you again. Okay, the other aspect of the game where the ghosts get Pac-Man, that's just added in for the game. That's not part of it. That's not part of life. They added that in just to make it a game. They couldn't make a game out of it. They had to add one feature to it. So it's a caveat. You're just a ghost. When the universe decides to send you home, you go home. And then you keep coming back out, and everybody you ever met kills you 50 times. And then you figure it out, and so you stay home. And then very few people know what happens after that, but I think there's an interlude where the ghosts do and Pac-Man do a duet, and it's sort of it's sort of choreographed, and there's music. It's no coincidence that to play Pac-Man, it costs $0.25, 25% of $1. That's part of it too. Okay, now that I got that out, I'm going to get back to my sandwich. So the other day, me and my friend Casey Anthony, we're over there, slinging Lucy's over there by the Fed courthouse. And Chuck Norris comes over there, I look over, there's Chuck Norris. I said, "Hey, pal, you want to get out of the way? He's standing right in my way so no one can even see me there. I said, hey, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to do my business here, And this guy, he's standing right in front of me. So then he acts like, so then he goes, yeah, I'm Chuck Norris. I'm Chuck Norris. I said, I don't care. I don't care if you're the Queen of England, pal. Get the fuck out of my way. This guy says I know the martial arts and this and that. I said, hey, Chuck Norris, how about this, pal? Punched his lights out. This guy, he didn't understand it. He never been punched like that before. He said, oh, but my karate. And then he was on the ground saying that. But he said, oh, but I know the karate. I punched the guy's lights out. Chuck Norris. It was Chuck Norris. I didn't believe it either. Kind of believed it, because the thing is, he was a little bit too confident. I could tell he was overconfident. He said, I'm Chuck Norris. I said, yeah, you're Chuck Norris. That don't mean you can't get punched out, pal. So he acted like because he was Chuck Norris. So then I just left. And he was on the ground. He was passed out. So I didn't hear nothing about it on the news, so I assumed that the fight was over. I go meet my friend Anthony over there later. He tells me, hey, who was that lady you was punching earlier? I said, I wasn't a lady, that was Chuck Norris. This guy. I would now like to play a song for you. Although it escapes me the name of the composition, that tune has always been something close to me. It's sort of, to me, almost like an anthem. Pew, pew. This has been the Cruel and Unusual Sit-Down Podcast. Coming to you weekdays at 11. Hey YouTube, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe.